Hey everyone, it's Jill, founder of Kids Baking Club. How are you guys doing? So today we are going to make oatmeal raisin cookies. They've done studies. These are the second favorite cookies that kids and families like. Of course, chocolate chip cookies are the number one, but these come in second, and because they're chewy and full of goodness, and I think because it has a little bit more brown sugar, they make it a little bit more moist and really, really yummy. So I'm gonna show you this recipe. Hey parents, you can sneak some other nutrients in there. You can sneak some chia seeds, some ground flaxseed in there. You can substitute the raisins for dried cranberries. There's lots of alternatives that you can do. We're gonna make the standard oatmeal raisin cookies and have some fun today. So get your bowls out and let's have some fun. So I'm gonna set these aside. These are kind of how they look and when they turn out. And we're going to start with the ingredients. So the first thing that you need is 1 stick of butter. Now this recipe makes about 2 dozen cookies. If you need more than that, you can double the recipe. So you're gonna get the 1 stick of butter. Now I forgot to take my butter out and let it go to room temperature. So one of the tricks is that you can microwave your butter for about 15 seconds and get it softened, which is what I did. So the first thing you're gonna do is just cream your butter. And the thing is you wanna get it almost to a lighter yellow. And that means you're putting a little bit more air into it, and it's really gonna make it tastier. Don't know why that works, but it does. All right, now we're going to put in our brown sugar, which is 3/4 of a cup. And you can see right here that I have a 1/2 cup here and a 1/4 cup. That makes 3/4 cup. I'm gonna dump that in, and along with that is 1/2 cup of sugar. Now, if you don't want to add granulated sugar, you can add some honey, and you can even add some molasses, which gives it a lot of taste. So we're just going to cream this just a little bit. Just make sure it's all distributed. And then we're going to add 1 egg. Now I did remember to take the egg out. The egg needs to be at room temperature so that you don't shock the butter and get it cold again. So we're going to put our 2 thumbs in, open, and set that aside. Make sure you dry your hands out. If you've got a sink next to you, go ahead and wash your hands. And we're gonna mix that. It's gonna get to be like a nice creamy liquid. I'm not gonna add the vanilla right now because I wanna make sure this is all mixed well first before, it's only a teaspoon of vanilla, so we wanna make sure that's all mixed well. And you can see it's nice and creamy, just like that. All right, I'm gonna take my 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. I'm gonna pour it in here, make sure it's all the way. If you think that you're a little rocky on pouring, then pour it over another bowl so you don't spill it. Although having too much vanilla in a cookie recipe can't hurt. Always remember to put your lid on. Why do I know that? Because I've spilled everywhere. Now we're gonna mix that really, really well. Now this is our 2-bowl method, so I'm gonna set these wet ingredients aside. And now I'm going to get another bowl for my dry ingredients, okay? We're gonna mix all the dry ingredients together so that we don't have any clumps of the dry ingredients in the wet ingredients. So first it starts out with 1 and 1/2 cup of flour. Then it's 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Make sure that's all in there. And then we're gonna add some cinnamon. And cinnamon gives it a little bit more flavor. Now in September and October and November when I make this recipe, I actually add pumpkin spice to it, and it gives it even more of a wonderful flavor. All right, I'm going to mix this together. Put that all together. Now, if the butter that you bought is not salted, you bought unsalted butter, this is where you want to use a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, okay? So just add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So now I'm going to bring my dry ingredients back and dump those into my wet ingredients. And you might wonder when this gets all mixed together, like why is it still kind of a soft dough? That's because we're going to add those dry oatmeal and give it a little bit more rustic. So you're gonna get a dough that's pretty stiff. And now we're going to add in our 1 1/2 cups of oatmeal. And I'll put the recipe below so you can get it. But hey, do you know that we have a free ebook? If you go to kidsbakingclub.com/ebook, you'll get all these free recipes that I always add. We also have a blog, and our blog also has lots of new recipes too. But of course, our baking kits, which is what we love, is we love sending our baking kits, because what that does is it gives the kids and the families all the tools that they need, especially for decorating. All right, now we're going to add a 1/2 cup of raisins. Now the raisins that I bought were a little dry, so what I did is I put some hot water into them and let them soak for a little bit to kind of wake the raisins up, and then I strained them. So I'm gonna dump those in. And what that does is it gives it a little more pop instead of chewing into something that's dry. We're gonna mix this really, really well. Now let's talk about substitution. So this would be a time where you could think about substitution. So one is, instead of the 1/2 cup of raisins, you could use a 1/2 cup of dried cranberries. I always have these because I love oatmeal. Or you can add a 1/2 cup or even a little bit more of chocolate chips or milk chocolate chips, whatever you want. And then also you can sneak in those other nutrients like chia seeds, which you'd want to do during the flour part, or some ground flaxseed. Those add some really good flavor. All right, now that my dough is nice and thick, I want to get my pan. And this is the fun part for kids, because they love putting the dough on. You're just going to take spoonfuls like this and just dump them out like that. They don't have to be perfect. And these are going to go into a preheated 350-degree oven for about 12 minutes. But watch, because you know all of our ovens are different, and you want to make sure that they don't burn. You'll start to see them browning a little bit on the edges, and then you just want to cool them just a little bit when they get out of the oven, and hey, you can serve them nice and warm. So thanks for joining me today. Hey, this was a fun recipe. Make sure to comment, and we will see you next time. See you soon.